Hi, today I'm going to read some more articles from this book called Coming Home Timeless Wisdom for Families. Now, this is really a good little book, but it has tons of little articles which I really love and appreciate for the author to write them. So, the author's name is Dr. James Dobson. Article name is Respect for the Elderly. Many years ago, I saw a documentary television program that I never forgot. It focused on the life of an elderly woman named Elizabeth Holt Hartford, who lived alone in a Los Angeles slum. These were her parting words that were aired on a videotape a few weeks after her death. You see me as an old lady who's all broken down with age, but what you don't understand is that this is me in here. I am trapped in a body that no longer serves me. It hurts and is wrinkled and diseased. But I haven't changed. I'm still the person I used to be when this body was young. Those who are younger may find it difficult to appreciate Mrs. Hartford's words. She was speaking of the unwanted generation and what is it like to be aged in a time dominated by the very young, to be unable to see or hear well enough, to have an active mind that is hopelessly trapped in an inactive body, to be independent on busy children, to be virtually sexless emotionally and physically in an erotized society, to be unable to produce or contribute anything really worthwhile, and to have no one who even remembers your younger days. A gastroenterologist once told me that 80% of his older patients have physical symptoms caused by emotional problems. Despair is quickly translated into bodily disorders. Obviously, self worth is essential to well being at all ages. Let's extend our love and respect to those such as Elizabeth Holt Hartford who have passed their prime. Now, I really love this article, and I have seen many people in India who are really aged, but their spirit is very young. Because see, the body ages, but the spirit is young. The next article is the apology. Have you ever found the courage to say I'm sorry to a child? It is difficult to do, and my father was never very good at it. I remember working with him in the backyard when I was 15 years of age on a day when he was particularly irritable for some reason. He grabbed at me for everything I did, even though tried to please him. Finally, he yelled at me for something petty, and I had had enough. I threw down the rack and quit. Definitely, I walked across our property and down the street as my dad demanded that I come back. It was one of the few occasions I ever took him on like that. I wandered around town for a while, wondering what would happen to me when I finally went home. I ended up at my cousin's house on the other side of town. After several hours there, I admitted what I had done, and my uncle urged me to phone. With knees quacking, I called my dad. Stay there, he said, I'm coming over. To say that I was scared would be understatement. Dad arrived in a short time and asked to see me alone. Whoa, he began. I didn't treat you right this afternoon. I was writing you back for no good reason, and I'm sorry. Your mom and I want you to come home now. It was a tough moment for him, but he made a friend for life, and in doing so, he taught me something about apologizing that would someday be useful to me as a father. Wonderful article, but not many fathers has the guts to say sorry when they are wrong. It's true too, because of the ego. Ego is the greatest enemy. Differing assumptions, the third article. One of the most common sources of conflict between husband and wives comes down to simple matter of differing assumptions. Let me illustrate. Some years ago, I went through a very hectic period of my life. Professionally, I was a full-time professor in a medical college, but I was also traveling and speaking far more often than usual. I completely exhausted myself during that time. It was a dumb thing to do, but I had made commitments so that I simply had to keep. Finally, on concluding Friday night, the siege was over and I came dragging home. I had earned a day off and planned to kick back and watch the USC Alabama football game that Saturday. Shirley, on the other hand, also felt that she had paid her dues for 6 weeks. She had taken care of the kids and run the home. It was entirely reasonable that I spend my Saturday doing things she wanted done around the house. Neither one of us was wrong. Both had a right to feel as we did, but the two ideas were compatible. Those assumptions collided about 10 o'clock Sunday morning when Shirley asked me to clean the backyard umbrella. I had no intention of doing it. There was an exchange of harsh words that froze our relationship for 3 days. It is important to understand that neither one of us was looking for a fight, yet we both felt misunderstood and wounded by the other. Our conflict was typical of what goes on every day in a million other homes. It all comes down not to deliberate antagonism but to something called differing assumptions. We can avoid most of these clashes simply by making sure that the people know what is on the other's mind. They might still disagree, but the unpleasant surprise can be prevented. This is always true, and people have different opinion and different views and different expectation, and most of the fights are due to pride, ego, and expectation. So if you just let go of our ego, our pride, and our expectation from others, then we can just live happily ever after. But that's not the case. Most people are loaded with ego, pride, and expectations from others. So these are the three articles for today, and I'll see you with many more.